Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Unforeseen Journey. So, a bit of news for me today. This is going to be the last episode I'm going to do of this show for a while. The reason for that is pretty simple. When I started doing this, I felt like I had a lot of things I wanted to share and to put out into the universe. And as I've gone on through the different episodes, I've arrived at a place now where I feel like I don't just want to continue to do this for the sake of feeling like I need to. I will continue to record these as and when things come up I think can add value to your experience of life and to perhaps help you. But for me, the focus in my life right now is twofold. It's firstly on being a dad and to spend more time being a better dad. And secondly, it's to really focus on my clients. So in the last 6 months, I've been fortunate enough to have gained a number of coaching clients, and that has made me really understand that the best thing I can do to, improve my career and to help me is to spend more time helping them. So that is where my energy is going to go. It's going to go largely into making sure I'm there to support them, and that I'm building a solid infrastructure of support in the back end of what we do in the one-to-one relationship. And thirdly, it's to improve my own knowledge and skills as a coach, something I'm very passionate about. And recording a podcast every week is energetically draining for a number of reasons, because you have to kind of try and think about what you want to say. You have to record it, edit it, post it, and it becomes something I think that can be quite draining. And so as I record this last one, I've got to say it feels like a bit of a relief to feel like, okay, I'm putting this out into the universe. I'm not doing this every week now. And I guess in the last month, I've gone through these cycles of what my old patterns were of like questioning and self-doubt and tweaking. And that's quite simply because I've entered a place where I'm not really putting out fires anymore, and life is good and simple. And I have, generating enough income to pay for bills and pay for some food, and life is good. So that is a beautiful thing to feel. But in that, I know that my patterns come up, and then I look for fires to create. That's been my life for a long time. So I'm not doing that. So I'm making decisions to actually do less, and to do more of the things which I think are most important to me right now. So that's it. But what I wanted to do today is leave you with some questions to ask yourself. And these are questions which have become fundamental to me, not necessarily as a coach, but more as a person, and I navigate life. And some of them I've spoken about on Instagram and social media, and some of them I haven't. And I guess for me, the point in me rounding out with this for the time being is to leave you with some of the things that are really helping me make better decisions at the moment in terms of how I choose to use my energy, the decisions I make in the moment, and how I choose to feel in myself. And that one may be a bit triggering. So how can I choose to feel that way? And that's ultimately the point of this, is that you can choose to feel a certain way. And if you can acknowledge that and believe that and then own that, your experience of life is going to be so much more, just better, because you're making a better decision around how you're choosing to feel in every moment. So yeah, here we go. I'm going to give you a few to think about and take from these what you will into your life and go forth. Okay. So the first one is one I did a post about the other week. And this is in relation to how you choose to allocate anything in your life. So I view life as largely an experience day to day of how you choose to allocate certain elements. So your time is a massive one, money is another one, your energy and your love. So in any given day, you have a certain amount of energy you can burn through, right? So think of this. In the morning, you like be so much more pumped up and mentally ready to go. But then by the end of the day, your energy is drained, right? So we have so much energy day to day. We have so much time day to day. And we have so much money, which we can burn through quite easily. And so as you approach every single day, valuing every single day as it is, as the only one that will ever exist truly for you in that moment, is that as you approach any decision around resource allocation, just ask yourself the question, and you can ask either end of this. If I say yes to this, what am I saying no to? If I say yes to this, what am I saying no to? And this is a really powerful formula, especially in relation to time allocation, energy allocation, because we have such a finite amount of it. And how we choose to use that time is really going to dictate how we experience life. And it's really easy to go on through life and to build these automated decisions around resource allocation. But if we can make a conscious decision every day and every moment around what you're doing, you're going to start to question, if I say yes to this, what am I saying no to? And if you look at what I've just said prior to this, about me not recording this every week, if I continue to say yes to this, I'm saying no to putting my energy elsewhere, which I think is going to be more useful for me as a man and for me as a coach right now. So that's the decision filter that I've applied to this very thing. You can do it in the terms of the no and the yes. If you're saying no to this, what are you saying yes to? And these are really, really powerful things to ask yourself any given day. And I guess the kind of thing to consider as you move onto this, and the thing that will come up to you, is that as you come up against resistance around asking these questions, what you'll probably notice is that the resistance to making a different decision comes from this belief you may have accumulated inside of yourself that won't be your belief. It will be generally a belief imposed on you by society, by friends, by family, whatever it is. And so this is a really great way to start moving towards figuring out you and your life and who you are, what matters most for you. So if you can say yes to this, what are you saying no to? Cool. So the second one is a more practical one, and this is one I've completely stole from Martin Lewis, and this is relating to money and finance. And more specifically for me, it's the accumulation of things and stuff. I previously have lived a life where I've been someone who's accumulated stuff through my life to fill a hole and fill a void in me. And so as I am in this place now and able to maybe buy things, limited things, I want to make sure that what I'm buying is truly adding value to my life and isn't trying to fill a hole that is somehow, a sign of something that's missing or broken. So firstly, it's a pretty simple formula, right? So with anything you want out in the world, okay, the first question you need to ask is, can I afford it? And when I say, can I afford it, do you have the money in the bank right now to afford it? And if it's a yes, okay, move on to question 2. If it's a no, well, then you've made your fucking decision, right? It's not that hard. If it's a yes, okay, this is the big one. Do I need it? Do I need this thing? Okay, is this thing going to add value to my life in a practical way that helps me? And if it's a no, then that is your answer. And what the thing you'll notice is, if you can start to apply this, is you'll make better decisions on the things that provide instant gratification. And then therefore that resource, the money, can be channeled into something else that could provide a further thing that's more important to you further down the line. Okay? So yeah, can I afford it? Do I need it? Really simple one. And here we go. I said this was going to be brief today. There's three ones that I was going to suggest, and here's the third one, right? So when you're going through life, you will continue to have thoughts arise. And those thoughts, by and large, are not always true. In fact, much of the time, they're not true. However, our mind is capable of convincing us that the thought we're having is a truthful thing because it feels truthful. And so the most simple question I can get you to ask yourself, that I ask myself, is, do I know this to be true? Do I know this to be true? And if you can answer that honestly, a lot of the time you'll say no. And when does this come up? It generally comes up when our brain is projecting out into the future or dwelling on something of the past. Okay? And if you can do this question honestly, do you know this is true in your heart? And if you say no, it's not, the power behind that thought can be immediately pulled away, and it can be, a powerful thing to then take that energy that can be consumed by that thought that isn't true, so you put that energy into something else that is more purposeful for you at that time. And so, yeah, those are the 3 questions which really help me in life right now. If you say yes to this, what am I saying no to? In relation to finance and money, can I afford it? Do I need it? And thirdly, in relation to your internal narrative and the things that are going to come up for you day to day, do I know this to be true? And that last one's a big one, especially in relation to thoughts of anxiety, depression, catastrophization, all those kind of things which we all experience day to day, is, do I know this to be true? And truth is entirely yours to define. That's the beautiful thing about the human experience. It's all well and good me saying I know the universal truth, but the only universal truth is your truth. And that is the beautiful thing of a life that you can start to live and experience as your own. And it all comes down to questioning. And that's the thing. That's the thing with the whole human experience, I've realized, is that when you can get comfortable with asking yourself questions continuously and being okay with the answers, regardless of what they are, not being attached to them, that is when you will truly start to know yourself. But until you're willing to ask those questions, you're only going to be burying your head in the sand. So there we go. I encourage you and challenge you to start embracing that. So that's it for me. I am going to sign off here. I do have some guests lined up and some shows to do for the podcast as and when they arise. But for me right now, this feels like a moment, a big moment. And I want to thank you for supporting me, for listening to these shows, to giving me feedback, and for reaching out and to have provided me with something through this experience, which has been largely one of, cathartic nature, sharing my own experience, but doing it in such a way that I have helped a couple of other people feel less alone and isolated in these moments that I've experienced, that you may have experienced as well. If you want to stay in touch with me, absolutely fine. I would love to do that. You probably already follow me on social media. If you don't, my Instagram is I am Glenn Oliver, Glenn with one N, obviously. And if you want to receive a weekly email from me, which is drafted in such a way now to be respectful of your time and attention and the amount of information you have pushed into you day to day, I will put a link to that in the notes for the show as well. But you can also sign up for that on my Instagram page. Anyway, that's it. I'm going to sign off here. Time of recording this, I should have my hernia operation next week, so that'll be amazing. That will open up some experiences to me that have otherwise been off the books for a while now. So I'm excited to live a full life again. Take from that what you will. Take care of yourselves. I love all of you sincerely who take the time to listen to this, and I appreciate each and every single one of you. There are things coming up for me in terms of my coaching and coaching programs over the next few months. So if you ever did want to consider working with me, reach out to me now. We can have a conversation. I'm not actively taking on clients right now, but there is some stuff coming up that may be of interest to you if you've resonated with the subject and context of these shows. That's it. Take care. Bye-bye.